Have you ever silently wondered, why do I work so hard? And yet, wealth still feels so far away. Deep down, have you felt like there's something essential about money, something no one ever told you? You wake up early, push through traffic, give your best, day after day. But when you check your account, it whispers the same story: lack, not abundance. You tell yourself to keep going, to try harder. But the truth is, painful effort alone isn't the currency of prosperity. Most of us have been unconsciously trained for scarcity, not success. We were taught to survive, not thrive. What if money isn't just paper or numbers on a screen, but the byproduct of a deeper, invisible system, your beliefs? Imagine a grab. Driver working 14 hours a day. He's not lazy, he's committed. But no matter how much he earns, it slips away. Not because he's doing something wrong, but because his subconscious is still wired for struggle. This isn't about how smart you are or how many hours you clock in. It's about a hidden pattern repeating itself. If you've ever felt like you're trapped in a loop of effort and exhaustion, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. But the question now is, if hard work isn't the answer, then what truly shapes the flow of money into your life? Money comes from the energy you carry each day. Not from the hours you count, not from the tasks you finish, but from the vibration you emit into the world. If your energy whispers fear, doubt, or lack, that's the frequency your reality tunes into. Most people think they're chasing wealth, but what they're really doing is repelling it with their unconscious beliefs. The subconscious mind, which controls over 90% of your financial behavior, doesn't respond to logic, it responds to emotion and repetition. You might believe you want more money, but if your deeper programming says it's hard to earn, or that you're not worthy of it, that belief becomes a silent barrier. It's not that you're undeserving, it's that you've been unknowingly rejecting abundance at the level of energy. There was a young woman who began her mornings with a simple practice. She didn't change her job or her strategy. She just sat still for 10 minutes, breathing, listening, shifting her inner state. She started thanking life for what she already had, and without planning it, an opportunity showed up. Someone approached her, wanting to invest in a project she had only shared casually. It wasn't luck, it wasn't magic, it was alignment. Her inner signal had changed, and the outer world followed. Money isn't just attracted to action, it's attracted to resonance. If you carry the frequency of trust, expansion, and sufficiency, life reflects that back. But if deep inside you carry the weight of scarcity, no amount of work can override that signal. This truth is not meant to blame, but to awaken. You are already broadcasting something every moment. The question is, what are you transmitting? And if you could shift that, how different would your financial reality become? So now, a new question rises. How do I begin to change my energy and my beliefs about money? Affirmations are the first tool for reprogramming. Not empty words, but emotional declarations that send new instructions deep into the subconscious. You're not just saying them to hear your voice. You're speaking to the part of you that runs your financial reality without asking for permission. When you affirm with feeling, you're not pretending, you're activating. Repetition with belief is what rewires old patterns. Saying money flows to me with ease is not wishful thinking. It's energetic instruction. Every time you repeat that phrase with sincerity, you carve a new pathway in the mind, and energy begins to shift. Your outer world starts to rearrange in response. There was a man once buried in debt. Every morning, he stood in front of the mirror, looked into his own eyes, and said one sentence: "I deserve abundance." It felt strange. He didn't fully believe it, but he kept going. After a few weeks, something changed. He walked taller. He smiled more. And then, 3 months in, a friend he hadn't spoken to in years reached out with a business opportunity that changed his financial path. This isn't coincidence. This is the result of new signals being sent into the field. you don't attract what you want. You attract what you believe. And beliefs are nothing more than thoughts you've repeated with conviction. The problem is, most of those thoughts were never chosen by you. They were given, absorbed, accepted without question. Affirmations are how you take that power back. But they only work when you feel them as real. When you speak as if the future is already here. When your body, voice, and emotion align in one direction, this is the beginning of a shift. Still, a question remains in the heart. Is saying powerful things enough? Or must I also behave as if those things are already true? What kind of action must I now take to support this inner change? Neuroplasticity allows the brain to adapt to new images. When you consistently show it a different version of yourself, it begins to rewire. The mind does not resist transformation, not follows instruction, but the instruction must be clear, repeated, and embodied. If you act like someone who is already wealthy, your brain eventually stops questioning and starts believing. Your nervous system learns from experience. Behavior shapes belief. Combine action with emotion and mental imagery, and you build a new operating system. This is not about pretending. It is about training. You are not faking success, you are rehearsing it. One man, after months of joblessness, made a choice. He dressed sharply each morning, walked into a luxury hotel lobby, ordered a coffee, and sat quietly journaling. He didn't go there to impress anyone. He went to absorb the energy of the environment, to write from a place of future self, to embody a different identity. 2 weeks later, a stranger struck up a conversation. That stranger turned out to be a CEO. A week after that, he was working for a company he once thought was out of reach. Was it chance? No, it was coherence. When your behavior matches your intention, new outcomes become possible. You cannot wait to feel ready. You must move as if the readiness is already inside you. The moment you behave in alignment with the version of you that already has the life you seek, your biology shifts, your emotions shift, your results begin to shift. Wealth is not a distant goal, it is a pattern. And patterns are built through repetition, through ritual, through the stories you live each day. So ask yourself, not what you lack, but who you must now become. And yet, something still lingers deep within. If all this is true, then what exactly is stopping me from becoming that person right now? The fear of success is often greater than the fear of failure. While failure is familiar, success brings the unknown, and the unknown awakens hidden doubts. Your subconscious might whisper, what if they judge me? What if I lose connection? What if I become someone I no longer recognize? These are not flaws in your character, they are echoes from the past. Perhaps somewhere along the way, you were told that wealth changes people. That being too ambitious means you care too much about things. That wanting more makes you selfish. And so, even as you dream of a better life, a quiet resistance forms. You delay, avoid, or walk away from doors already open. Not because you are weak, but because the fear is dressed in logic. A preschool teacher once had the chance to open her own center. She had the skills, the plan, and even support, but she hesitated. Deep down, she worried others would say she had become greedy. That fear led her to say no. A year later, the job she depended on disappeared. In the silence that followed, she realized the opportunity she avoided was never wrong. It was her inner belief that held her back. Once she named the fear, it began to lose its grip. Recognition is the beginning of release. You cannot overcome what you refuse to face. But when you bring light to what hides in the dark, the power it holds over you starts to fade. You are not afraid of money. You are afraid of what you think it might cost you. But what if wealth doesn't take from you? What if it expands who you are? So now the real question appears. What must I do to Move through this fear and act, even while my hands still tremble. That is the 2-minute rule. Do it now, just for 2 minutes. This simple shift in action disrupts delay and begins to rewire your nervous system. It sounds too easy, but that is its power. Fear often hides in the size of the task. When your mind sees something big, it stalls, hesitates, withdraws. But when the step is small, the resistance loses strength. You don't need to feel ready. You only need to begin. Momentum builds belief, and belief fuels transformation. One single mother had the desire to learn about investing, but every day she told herself she was too tired, too busy, too late to start. Then she made a new decision. She gave herself 2 minutes each day to press play on a video. Not to finish the course, not to master the topic, just to begin. Day after day, 2 minutes became 5, then 10, then curiosity took over. A year later, she had her first stream of passive income, not because she had all the answers, but because she chose to move. Fear did not vanish. It just stopped leading. The brain learns from action, not just intention. When you act, even while nervous, you send a signal to your body that says, I am safe to grow. Each small step becomes a vote for the identity you are building. You don't need to leap into a new life. You only need to interrupt the old one. And that interruption starts with 2 minutes. Open the book, press play, write the line, make the call. Your mind will want to wait until everything feels right. But growth never comes from comfort. It comes from choosing differently, even when the old fear still speaks. So once you've begun, the question becomes clear. How do I stay in the vibration of abundance? Not just once, but every single day. When you begin to embody the reality you desire, you are no longer wishing or hoping for change. You are aligning your entire being with the outcome you envision. This alignment is not about pretending or imagining without belief. It's about stepping into the frequency of already having, already becoming, already being. Your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors shift, not because of external validation, but because your internal state has moved. In this space, gratitude becomes more than politeness. It transforms into a powerful signal that tells the universe you are ready. Each morning, when you choose to give thanks for what already exists, you recalibrate your focus. You're no longer caught in loops of lack or delay. You step into the energy of fulfillment. A student once chose to wake up each day and thank life for having a brain capable of learning. No complaint about circumstances, no resistance to effort, just genuine appreciation for potential. 6 months later, that student received a full scholarship. When you practice this consistently, changes occur not only in your mind, but also in your environment. You begin to notice shifts in how people respond to you, how opportunities unfold, and how clarity sharpens. It's not magic, it's coherence. Your body, mind, and energy are no longer contradicting each other. They move together in harmony. Living in this state means you are not chasing results, but attracting them. The difference is subtle yet powerful. Outcomes meet you because you have already become the person who matches them. You are no longer asking, when will it happen, but saying, this is who I am. This identity shift brings momentum. Consistency creates evidence. And when you start to see small confirmations, you build trust. Not blind belief, but grounded confidence. You stop doubting and start creating. Every time you give thanks in the morning, not for what's missing, but for what's here, you are tuning in to a frequency that carries your future. If you stay there, if you return daily, if you allow yourself to feel as though it is done, you set a signal that echoes. This signal draws experience to it, and over time, what was once invisible becomes real. Because change doesn't begin with effort, begins with presence. The state of being is the seed of becoming. Consciousness is the creator. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. Your reality mirrors your internal state, not your wishes. Change does not begin with effort alone. It begins with awareness. The moment you observe your own patterns with clarity, you interrupt the cycle. Like the quantum effect, your observation collapses potential into form. You are shaping life not just with your actions, but with your state of being. Every thought, every emotion, every silent choice becomes a brushstroke on the canvas of your world. When you shift from fear to forgiveness, from scarcity to enoughness, your energy changes, and with it, your experience. A young woman carried resentment toward her father for years. She believed it was personal, unrelated to her goals or finances. But one day, she chose to release the weight. She forgave him not to forget, but to be free. Weeks later, her boss gave her a raise she never asked for. It seemed random, but something had moved. A block inside had softened. Energy that once resisted flow now welcomed it. When the inner world transforms, the outer world cannot stay the same. You are not separate. From what you create, your life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. So ask not only what you want to receive, but who you are willing to become in order to receive it. Every elevation of consciousness plants a new seed in the soil of your future. And once you've tasted the shift, once you've felt the freedom that comes from within, a new question rises. Can I now become a source of light for someone else? Can I share this transformation? Not as a performance, but as an invitation. Can I be a mirror for others to remember what they, too, are capable of becoming? Sharing equals strengthening belief, equals creating resonance. When you tell your story, you anchor the frequency of transformation deeper into your being. Speaking it out loud gives shape to what once lived only in your mind. And in that expression, something powerful happens. You begin to align with it even more. Your voice becomes the bridge between the shift inside you and the world around you. Transformation is not meant to be hidden. It multiplies when passed on. A person once unknown began sharing their journey of financial awakening on a simple social platform. They did not have a large audience. They did not try to impress. They only spoke with honesty, sharing the inner changes, the doubts, the insights, the daily decisions that shaped a new path. Within 3 months, they were invited to speak at events, then asked to write a book. Not because they were famous, but because their energy spoke louder than their words. When you share with presence, you become magnetic. You attract those who are ready, those who feel your truth, those who see in your steps a reflection of their own potential. Every story matters, and yours could be the spark someone else is waiting for. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. Willing to let others witness your growth. Willing to allow your evolution to serve a bigger purpose. In doing so, you expand beyond yourself. You become part of a rising field and network of those choosing differently. And within that field, abundance moves faster, with more joy and less resistance. So now that you've seen what's possible, another question emerges. What is the next step I must take right now to begin living a truly abundant life? The next step is not out there, it lives inside the decision you make today. You don't need to know everything. You don't need to be flawless. You only need to commit. The journey begins not when fear is gone, but when courage takes its place beside it. Waiting for the perfect moment is how dreams stay delayed. Don't wait until you have enough money to study money. Don't wait until you feel no fear to take action. Start now, from where you are, with what you have. Wealth is not a destination. It is a path you walk the moment you choose to align with it. You do not chase abundance, you embody it. You don't force the future, you flow with it. Your energy today writes the code for your life tomorrow. So breathe in that truth, Let it settle in your chest. Remind yourself that the power has always been yours. No one can give it to you. No one can take it away. Your time is not coming someday. It is calling now. If something in this message stirred you, it's not random. It's a signal, a sign that your next chapter is waiting. Not years from now, but here in this very breath. So write this in the comments below. I am ready to embody abundance. Say it, type it, feel it. And if this video lit even the smallest spark inside, you share it. Not for me. For someone out there who is still stuck in silence. Someone who needs your voice as their permission to rise. You never know how far your words can reach. You never know who's waiting for your light. So thank you. Out of all the voices you could have chosen, you chose this one. That was not by accident. That was alignment. And somewhere the universe is whispering, your time is now.